If you live to be 100, I want to live to be 100 minus 1. So I never have to live without you. Winnie the Pooh. Boys, girls, and variations thereupon. It's time to go to bed. Hello and welcome to Modern Escapism. My name is Oodles Prime, and I have been sent to Earth to monitor these ne'er-do-wells. First up, remember Tommy Pickles from Rugrats? Well, he's a 40-something version of that. It's Biggie.
Wanker.
Just told everyone about him wearing a diaper. A nappy diaper, Jesus.
Whoa.
At last she's free, it's time to take over the world. Make her monsters grow, it's Candy Machine.
Hello.
Over the hills and far away, all the Geordies come to play. It's Gadget.
I'll read.
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. It's Stig.
Hello.
Hello everybody. Welcome to the show. We've got a patron to discuss first, haven't we, children?
We do, yes, we do. If you head on over to patreon.com/modernescapism, you'll be able to see the lovely things that we are putting out there for our Patreons. We have 3 different tiers. On there we have a £5 Modern Escapees tier, and that will get you extended episodes of this weekly one. So if you're not signed up for that, you're missing some absolute top quality round the back banter, as Oodles puts it. We also have a monthly special, so you're guaranteed at least one monthly special, and then any other specials we do on top of that. For instance, we've done a whole series of Loki spoiler specials, and coming soon is Too Faff Too Curious. It's Biggie and Gadget watching Fast and the Furious for the first time and telling us their thoughts. I believe the first film has been watched, and recording is to commence soon, so... That's interesting. If you see, that's the noise you're making for the first film. We also have our Dungeons and Dragons tier. It's Scorched Sheep, and that is for our Dungeons and Dragons podcast, Do Dragons Dream of Scorched Sheep. If you sign up for that, it's £5 a month. That gets you ad-free episodes. It gets you early access to the episodes, access to all battle maps, artwork, original music, and anything else we make for the show. And you can suggest NPC names and item names to Gadget to use on us. And if you're feeling flush, £7.50 is the Biggie bundle, and that gets you everything. We also are toying with the idea of doing some videos. If you head on over to our YouTube, you'll see a reaction video we did to Sexy Beasts.
Didn't we react?
Oh, yes, we did. So we're toying with the idea of doing a few of them exclusively for Patreons, and then to be released to the general public further down the line.
Excellent, thank you very much. And as time-honoured tradition would warrant, we're going to be talking about what we've been up to this week. And we're going to start with me for once. Let's just mix it on up. I have been continuing watching The Walking Dead. Did I state I was at like season 3 last time, something like that?
Yeah, you said you were about a third of the way to season 3.
I'm on season 7 now.
Fucking hell.
Well done.
You been to work at all this week?
Yeah.
He was also working with The Walking Dead.
Yeah. It's quite easy to watch a cheeky episode here and there between breaks. But yeah, I'm really like it. I know people say people fall off it and stuff like that, but I'm still very invested in this. I do like the pace. Like, there are talky episodes where people just literally talk all the way through it or walk. It's definitely The Walking Dead because there is a lot of walking in it. But we've got to a point now, I mean, spoiler alert, where most of the cast from the first season are gone. There's about 3 main ones left. Some of my favourites are still in there, at least. We've had ups and downs. They've lost communities, they've gained communities, and on the very last episode, I saw a gentleman named, write it down, Negan approached. So let's just see how this gentleman lays waste, by the looks of things, to our beloved heroes.
Knocks it out the park, I can tell you that.
Oh, does it? Oh, excellent. The main thing
I thought Negan came a bit earlier than that.
No, he was mentioned on season 6, and then on the last episode of season 6, leading into season 7, he made his appearance. It's the guy from Watchmen, the Watchmen film.
Yeah. So you've not met the Seal yet?
No, I don't know who she is. So, yeah, it's good. But the main thing I want to discuss is I have been playing Control Ultimate Edition.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, so good.
Oh, wow. I picked this up from Argentina for very, very cheap. It cost me £13, so you're not going to not, are you?
I
No,
thought it was on Game Pass.
I played it on Game Pass.
I think the normal version's on Game Pass, I'm not sure, but...
And not for PC.
Yeah, no, not for PC, but I picked it up, all next gen, all lovely, lovely jubbly. We have talked about Control on this podcast before, I know that, so I won't go into too much detail, but fuck, that's good, isn't it?
Oh, it's proper good.
It's very pretty as well. It's like it's not photorealistic. It's very stylized, actually. More than I realized.
It has its moments. There's some cutscenes where the camera gets close in on Jessie.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, is that actually the actress or is it CGI?
Yeah, there's stuff with the mouth and the faces and stuff, yeah.
Well, no, but there are a couple where it's actually the actress. And it's kind of... they're very stylized moments, but when you see them, it's like, yep, that's the actress. That's definitely the actress. But
yeah,
most of the way through, you're thinking, how real is this?
Yeah,
most of it isn't real. It's really good though.
It's just like I thought it was going to be really, really scary, but it's not, is it?
No.
I thought it was scary, but then I wasn't expecting any kind. I went into it knowing absolutely nothing, so I wasn't expecting any kind of scariness at all. And then when you first hear the kind of sound effects, it's like, what is this?
Yeah,
But I will say I wasn't sober when I played it, so that might have helped.
I'm never sober, so don't worry about that. It's the main things that I'm really picking up on it is how it's like a really souped up X-Files in a way, and it's got SCP Foundation stuff from Creepypasta. It's got those kind of things. Yeah. Like I've just recently done the fridge mission where a guy has to stare at a fridge. If he looks away from the fridge will fuck him up. So I'm coming to save you, I'm coming to save you. And then he goes, oh no, I looked away. And then he disappears. I go touch the fridge and I end up fighting this big 40 feet colossal eyeball.
I love the fact that if you haven't played this game, you have no concept of what Noodles is talking about here.
Nope, I haven't. It's on my backlog. I have it.
I think the less said, the better, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, for people that haven't played, it is a third-person action shooter game. Interestingly, you have the same weapon all the way through it. It basically changes. It transforms, but it's still the same gun. But it's very clever how it does that. And it's kind of a Metroidvania, kind of.
It's got elements of that.
You do come back to the main hub and you get new abilities and stuff. I'm not going to spoil the abilities either because some of them I did not see it coming. Like this is fucking crazy stuff. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this Control. And if you've not played it, I think it's available on most things now, isn't it? It's
on everything. And if you're not bothered about having it in 4K, you can play it on Game Pass.
You can play it on Switch
the standard
as well.
Edition's on Game Pass. Well, you can. It's a cloud version, though. So, I mean, it runs perfectly fine, but I don't think that's the ideal way to play it.
It was one of the first PS5 games to get the upgrade from the PS4.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, I genuinely think like it's beautiful, and it's beautiful without like you see these clips of like Forza, the new Forza Horizon, where it just looks like real life. It doesn't need to be. Like Gadget said in the close-up cutscenes. Yeah, they look really good. Like, they've all got bloodshot eyeballs, they've got veins in the neck, they've got realistic teeth, which games do not do teeth really well, but this game does. Yeah, it's just really good. It's supernatural without being horror. It's fucked up, and I recommend you all to play it. You can get it super cheap. So, yeah. Gadget, what you been doing?
So, a couple of things. I'm going to give you not a podcast recommendation, but a podcast episode recommendation first off. Because I listened to this one at the gym this morning. And we all know, I've talked in the past, I really enjoy Reply All, which is one of Gimlet's kind of tech investigation, journalistic kind of shows. And they dropped an episode this week. The thing that I always like about Reply All podcasts is because they are proper journalists, they will follow a story to wherever it goes. So most of their stories start with, I was thinking about this thing, and I started investigating it, and it led me here. You know, that's kind of how they go on. And a lot of times where stories lead them is completely far removed from what they started with. So the episode is called, it's number 177, it's called Gleeks and Gurgles. And it starts off with one of their producers wondering how the TikTok algorithm works. Because she installed TikTok, and the first thing that showed up was something that was a video related to Glee. And she hasn't thought about Glee for about 10 years, but she was a big fan of it when it was on. And so she starts thinking about how the algorithm works and how it knew that should be the first thing she should see on the app. And then it leads her down a path to discovering about people who can't burp. Physically can't burp. And I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to spoil for you, but you just listen to it. It's about an hour and a half long. It's so good. It's such a fascinating little story. And I'm in the gym, like lifting weights, going, wow, this is really interesting. And honestly, it's just fucking weird. It's just really, really well worth a listen, though. But the main thing I'm going to talk about is I joined the Cool Kids Club this week, and I got a PS5.
Hooray!
So that's now 4/5 of this podcast with a PS5.
No pressure.
And because obviously Stig talked about, I got mine with Ratchet and Clank, but Stig talked about that a couple of weeks ago when he got his. So I'm going to talk about one of the games I picked up, which is Returnal, which is a game that I've wanted since it was first announced last year, actually. Returnal is a third-person shooter roguelike developed by Housemarque. I love Housemarque. Their games tend to be roguelike, so kind of very arcadey top-down shooters, but with usually an arresting visual style, and they're just great fun to play. I think, what was it, Resogun was one of the first ones of theirs I ever played, back on it was one of the PS4 launch games.
It was.
But Returnal has you playing an astronaut called Celine, who crash lands on the planet Atropos in search of a mystery white shadow signal and finds herself trapped in a time loop.
Oh.
So because, of course, as it is this podcast, you know, time is a flat circle for us. It loops around. We have no concept of what's going on. This game works the same way. So you are charged with exploring this ridiculously hostile planet and trying to work out what the fuck's going on. And one of the first things that happens is as you get out of your ship, you kind of stumble upon the corpse of yourself. I don't just hate it when that happens.
Yes.
Walking down the street, oh, fuck that. There's a dead version of me again. It brings your day down. Every time you die in the game, you go back to the start, effectively. It's a roguelike, so yeah, you go back to the crash site, the world rearranges, and you have to carry on forward. A lot of the combat is very much bullet hell style. There's a lot of projectiles that you have to avoid, but the gameplay is just the combat is just nailed on. It is so good and so precise. As you're working through, you're unlocking you're unlocking weapons, you're unlocking abilities. The graphics are gorgeous. It's one of the prettiest games I've ever played, and I'm still only in the first biome, which is a really dark forest at night. Like you'll walk through some corridors, and these like bioluminescent plants will just like kind of come out of the ground and kind of like convalesce around you, and it's beautiful. Like the way the light reflects off your suit and off your helmet, it's just incredible. I'm about 6 or 7 hours into it at the minute. I've done 8 runs so far, and obviously died in all of them. But I'm just really, really enjoying exploring the planet. Like, it's one good thing that I think roguelikes are very good at, is giving you that sense of exploration.
Yeah.
Because that is obviously the point of the game, you know. Whereas when you play, you know, any kind of classic Metroidvania or anything like that, once you've done an area, you've done it. You know?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, you will tend to go back through it to get another route out, or you know, you've got an ability, so you'll backtrack through. But with this one, with the way the world's kind of shifting around and giving you new avenues and new places to explore every time you die, it's just you're exploring it from the start every time. And there's been a couple of times I'll walk through a door really early on. I've only got the basic weapon, and there's some giant enemy right there, just eats me face. I'm like, yeah, look at the draw. Can't argue with that. So I'm really looking forward to exploring it more. The music's great, sound design's fantastic. Yeah, if you get a PS5, pick up Returnal. I'm really, really enjoying it.
How much did it cost?
I got it in the PSN summer sale for £52.
Oh, you can't argue with that.
Which is down from 70.
Yeah, that's a really good saving.
And I'll probably talk about more PS5 games coming up because I've got Demon Souls coming. I also picked up the upgraded version of Metro Exodus.
Oh, I've been playing that as well. It's very good.
Yeah, Returnal. Please do pick it up. It's really, really good. And the more people who buy it, the more Housemarque will make more games.
Agreed. Support the developers that you love. I've always said that.
Did you play Astro, the demo?
Oh, yeah, I played and finished that. I had so many nostalgic-asms is what I'm going to say.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. So worth it just to play with the controller and just to really feel those haptics. It's incredible.
Yeah. You know, you just walk into the PS1 land and like there's a little TV screen in front of you and you just kind of walk over a button and you get the Sony Computer Entertainment logo come up with the sound.
Yeah.
You just feel it through your body. And also reminds me that I've had every PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like PlayStation's been part of my life for 25 years now and I feel a little bit old, but also a little bit, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I same apart from PS5, obviously. I didn't buy the PlayStation when I had that bought, but every other I've bought, so maybe I should buy a PS5. Or maybe someone should buy me one. You never know. But thank you.
That's what I've been up to.
Thank you very much. Stig, what have you been doing?
I started Silent Hill 2.
Oh,
nice.
Right. Is that like the 5th best game of all time? Something like that?
I'm not sure where it ranks, to be honest. It's up there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not very far into it. I'm only an hour into it, so I'll probably talk about it another time. But yeah, I did start that. There's a lot of fog, isn't there?
Oh, it's foggy.
But yeah, it was very creepy.
Foggy Hill.
Walking through that first bit and all those little creatures just like kind of crawling along the floor and like just shooting out from under the cars and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I played it with my headphones on because I'll make sure I get the sound and the fucking static from that.
The radio
as well. It's just like, yeah.
You can turn it off if you want.
Yeah,
Oh.
I know, but that's not part of the fun, is it? Also, it helps you identify where the monsters are. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, the sound design of it, I like already. I can tell it's really good. But yeah, I'll play a bit more of that when I have the chance. But I watched the new Masters of the Universe show, Revelations. Oh, Masters of the Universe Revelation. I'll put it to say, I enjoyed this. I liked it. The first episode I thought was brilliant. The music in it is spectacular. Like the main theme they use is really great. And the first time He-Man turns into He-Man, got a bit goose pimply. You know, it's been a long time since I've seen the whole, seen it all and, properly in a TV show.
Prince Adam's still got that same outfit on.
Prince Adam's a bit more of a teenage boy in this one rather than being like a big muscly guy who turns into a big muscly guy. So
he literally puts a spray on tan and he's different and no one can spot it.
Yeah, he just kind of changes
Superman Clark Kent thing again.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Changes his clothes in the original Superman, He-Man, and that's about it. But yeah, and then something happens and it's a catalyst for a load of change, and the story's actually based around Teela.
Oh.
This is only a 5-part show to start with. The other part is coming whenever. I don't know why. I don't know when. Don't know why they've done it like this. I really think they should have just waited. Done that. Apparently, they're still working on the other 5, finishing off some editing and sound and stuff on it. But I don't know why they just didn't release it all at once, because it's caused a bit of controversy. I'll get to that in a minute. But for me, I enjoyed it. I thought there were aspects that didn't work as well. Some of the proper criticism I've seen is of the kind of pacing, and some of the script is a bit shonky. The pacing is a bit too fast, doesn't really give you time to breathe. It's like, here's a thing, go do this, here's a thing, go do that, and it moves along quite like that. It doesn't really give time to flesh things out a bit. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I really like the animation. It's by the same team that does Castlevania and that Blood of Zeus.
Yeah.
So like the animation I really liked. It really feels like a proper continuation, like yeah, but it's kind of come under a bit of shitstorm from people because it's not like what we wanted.
It's a sequel as well, so I mean,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I watched the first episode as well.
So you know what happens at the end of the first episode?
Yes.
Yeah. So that doesn't bother me because I know that it's going to lead. No.
What I did notice was I had absolutely no impetus to watch the second episode.
Yeah.
I didn't like it as much as you. I didn't hate it, don't get me wrong.
I really liked that first episode. I thought it was great.
I feel like it was paced fine and everything like that. And then I just remembered that maybe I just didn't love He-Man as much as I thought.
Yeah. That's a fair point. I mean,
I don't hate it. I don't like I said. I didn't hate it.
This is kind of aimed at a more older audience. It's like I think it's rated to 12, so it's a bit more. It's not violent in the terms of Castlevania violent, but it's more violent than like the original cartoon was, and it's clearly aimed towards the people who enjoyed the 80s cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I get
like
that.
a follow up rather than I'm trying to bring in some new younger audience maybe as well, but there's a couple of real good twists in there which I really liked, but yeah, a lot of people think Kevin Smith has lied to them about what the show was about and what the show was doing, and I don't really agree with that. I'm trying not to get into spoiler territory with it, but the show does focus on Mora.
Teela's a great character anyway.
Exactly, and it's just coming across as I didn't want to follow a strong woman.
Oh, fuck that.
Kind of crowd.
It's them again, is it?
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm going to watch
And they're all saying, that's not it. We don't that's not it. We don't care about that. We care because he told us one thing and the marketing told us one thing and it's doing another thing. And it's like, well...
It's not called He-Man for one.
I was going to say, it is called Masters of the Universe.
Exactly. So there's that. It's Masters of the Universe. So I did see someone trying to like make a comparison. They're saying, like if I was watching a Superman film and Batman was like the main thing, I was like, yeah, but if that was called Justice League...
Yeah,
that's fine. If it was called Superman and the Justice League,
exactly,
you would expect it to be more Superman centric.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't He-Man. He-Man is in this throughout in a way, and it doesn't focus on him more. It focuses on Teela's journey and
Eternia in general,
and in Eternia and what's happened because of what's happened in the first episode and the catalyst for that. And yeah, I like where it's going, and I have no problem with following Teela. I have no problem with like the main kind of people it's following at the moment being women. I don't see that as an issue at all. They are good characters. It's got a really strong voice cast. It's got Sarah Michelle Gellar, Lena Headey, Mark Hamill, Liam Cunningham, Justin Long's in there. And there's a load of other people who you'll recognise from...
Jay Mewes, he's in it.
Yeah, Jason Mewes is in it. Kevin Conroy.
Ooh.
Alicia Silverstone. I mean, they're not like big, but these are names you recognise. Tony Todd. Like, there's just a lot of people you will recognise, and then there's some people who do like a lot of voice actor work. In other things you'll know.
Yeah, and obviously Big Mark Hamill.
Yeah, the only thing about Mark Hamill is if you close your eyes, it's just the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely Joker.
It's like they've kind of gone. Can you just do the Joker?
It's the same when he was the trickster in The Flash. Exactly the same.
I kind of just wish he'd put a bit more... Like, Skeletor's always a bit like, yeah, I'm Skeletor! Like, it was just to put a bit more of a whine in his voice. But it just kind of comes across as a Joker. But he's still great. Skeletor's still great in it. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next part. I do kind of wish they just released it all. It probably would have explained things a bit more, and there would have been a bit more justification, kind of what Kevin Smith was saying. Right now, we have no idea where it's going. So
I'm sure Netflix wouldn't have greenlit it if they didn't know that it was going to be like a decent narrative and stuff like that. They wouldn't have bothered.
I don't know. There's Netflix. They just throw money at
saying
anything,
that,
don't they?
yeah. Throw it at the wall, see if it sticks.
But I enjoyed it, and I've just kind of been seeing a bit of a shitty thing about it today, and it's been review bombed and stuff, and
Fucking everything gets review bombed by
Yeah.
idiots. It's the gamers, man. It's the
like,
gamers.
The thing is, right, there is valid criticism in some of this, because we were talking about it in our Discord, and what they were saying was valid criticism, and even then they said I didn't even notice the whole like wokeness in commas, inverted commas, because it's being called like a woke show because of like, so it's just like, no, because we didn't notice that because that's not a thing. Just a strong female lead. And Teela always was. And it's what annoys me. It's just like they seem to forget that the original He-Man had the sorceress, Evil Lyn, Teela, a show that spun off it about a female version of He-Man, She-Ra.
Yeah.
Like, this Eternia and Massive Universe have always had these strong female characters. So who gives a shit if for a few episodes we follow one of their characters for a bit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, anyway,
I'm going to watch it to spite the gamers.
I enjoyed it, and sorry for going on a bit of a rant there, but it's kind of annoyed me a little bit, that kind of stuff. It's been... If you've got valid criticisms, fine, but some of it just seems to come from a place of...
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
So.
If you're one of them and you listen to this, stop. Candy, what have you been doing?
Yeah, I watched Masters of the Universe as well. I also really enjoyed it. I can understand why it's probably going to be a little bit divisive. I think bold moves were made in the first episode, but I think once I was used to what the direction it was going in, I settled in, and I really enjoyed it. And like you said, the art style's incredible, the voice acting's really good, and I'm looking forward to the next part. The other thing I watched was Johnny Mnemonic. Now, I know this is super old, but I'd never seen it before, and I think it was recently added. I can't remember if it was Amazon or Netflix, but anyway.
It was recently added on there,
because I'm seeing a lot of people are coming out and saying, I just watched that. They're mean, aren't they?
And if you want to know what that means, you'll have to buy our Patreon.
Yeah, for me, it was one of those rare golden nuggets that earns the title of so bad it was good. The acting was just awful. The special effects were awful. And this isn't, I mean, I know I said it's old, but it wasn't, I think it came out in 95, 96. And
yeah,
when you compare
it's post Jurassic Park.
I was about to compare it to Jurassic Park. Yeah. The story's passable, but it's executed so poorly. That's terrible too. And the whole thing, I found it just hilariously bad. I know I spent time on previous episodes ragging on Keanu, and I don't want it to sound like I just fuck Keanu kind of thing.
I told you he does listen to this.
Well, exactly. So I don't want to upset him. I like him as a person. I like him as an actor as well. But fucking hell, he's bad in this.
He's
I think he might,
isn't he?
No, not in this. He fucking isn't. I just think maybe he's one of those actors that kind of relies on a really strong director, and maybe that's not the support he received in this. But yeah, it was just really laughable. I thoroughly recommend it. If you want, get drunk, have a couple of beers, get your friends round, and just laugh how bad it is.
I can't imagine Keanu Reeves being the kind of actor to ad-lib anything. I think he's Mr. Script.
I think you can almost see him kind of reading the script as he's acting.
Yeah.
Like sometimes he's
a proper like old school actor.
I don't remember it at all.
Quite a high budget, that film as well. And when you were talking about it being post Jurassic Park, I just had a quick look. I thought I'll just have a look at the budgets and see if that's a fair comparison. It is. Jurassic Park was treble the budget this was, but it's still 26 million in the 90s.
Yeah, that's my barometer with everything. It's either post Jurassic Park, post Toy Story, and pre.
It's not really, if the special effects are bad, that's pretty poor use of the money, I think. It probably went more on the likes of Keanu and Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, there was quite a few famous faces that didn't add much to it. Henry Rollins as well, he was in it and he was bad.
What was the book it was based on? Who was the author? I can't remember.
I didn't even
Do
know
you know
it was
what?
a book.
No, I didn't either. I wouldn't mind reading it because I think if the story was done well, I mean, the story could have been good.
Like a cyberpunk novelist, I can't think who it is.
Is it not based on one of William Gibson's novels?
Yes, thank you.
So it's like a really half-assed attempt at the Neuromancer story.
Yeah,
I bet it's got nothing to do with it though, has it?
No, very little. It's a sort of in the realm. I was looking at Keanu's IMDb for the 90s. His quality in the 90s is all over the place.
He had to get older.
Well, yeah, because you start with 1991, Point Break, and Bill and Ted's Bonus Journey.
Jerky.
Bonus jerky.
Bogus Journey is what I was trying to say there. But then he goes into Bram Stoker's Dracula and Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And even Cowgirls Get the Blues, which might be one of the worst films ever made.
It's bad.
Then he does Speed, which pulls him back up a little bit.
Yep.
Not the drug.
I was going to say, maybe speed was the problem.
But then immediately after that, it's Johnny Mnemonic, and it drags him right the way back down. And then, like, it's a load of films I haven't heard of. And then it's The Matrix to finish off the decade.
He's had a very varied career. But as one of my dear friends said, essentially it's Cyberpunk 1993.
It's beautiful.
So that was my week.
Even after The Matrix, it's a lot of shite. It really is.
Up until John Wick.
Are you telling me that he wasn't amazing in The Gift?
Mate, he wasn't amazing in The Matrix 2 and 3. He wasn't really amazing in The Matrix, let's be fair.
He played his character well, because I think his character was meant to be a bit monotone, wasn't he?
He was destroyed by Lawrence Fishburne and Hugo Weaving in every single scene.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Excellent. Good week. Gotcha. So, I've done it again.
You've done it!
God.
Biggie! Our other bald person in the show. What have you been up to?
I'm gonna come down there, I'm gonna hold you down and shave your head.
Mate, he's even changed his name to Biggie.
He's been picking on me this evening.
Like, I asked him to other week, he's done it. And I still made the mistake. Sorry,
You could
sorry,
have got
Britain.
away with that and just said, "Oh, sorry, I forgot I'd done you already, Gadget."
No, I'm nothing if an honest host. Biggie, hello.
Hello.
What you been doing?
Not an awful lot, if I'm perfectly honest.
Okay, let's move on to the feature.
Thanks for that, mate.
I got up to Endgame, ready to view now. Rewatched Captain Marvel.
Oh, I love Captain Marvel.
Do you know what? I really enjoyed it, but it's the second time I've watched it, and now I've got issues with Jude Law for one.
Everyone has.
I forgot he was in it.
I thought he was really miscast in that. I don't quite understand why he was in that movie. It seems like a really odd choice for him to play
It's
that
nice
character.
to put his name on a poster. That's
Well,
why.
it is, but I mean, considering when you look at all the other sort of people that they had in there, I thought, why him? Really strange choice.
Yeah.
And Annette Bening as well. I'm not quite sure
Yeah, that's
why
true.
they picked her. That was a bit of a weird one. But Brie Larson's awesome.
Oh, she's incredible.
I know that movie got a lot of flack wrongly for sort of being... She came out quite pro-women and everything after that when it was being released. I think she sort of took that mantle on. But I think, personally, for me, she was excellent. I thought she really carried that film along. Because she's in it pretty much the whole way through.
Yeah.
There's hardly any scenes where she's not in it. So I thought she was brilliant. Quite funny. But yeah, it's just got Endgame to come back round again. So looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah, but because of that, I got influenced to go and play Marvel Alliance for some weird reason. So I've been watching a lot of Marvel stuff, rereading.
Oh, yeah, Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah, so I whacked that on briefly. I mean, it's not the greatest game in the world, but it has
It's a laugh,
some
innit?
strange charm. It's just something about it. For those that don't know very briefly, it's just like a, you could almost call it like a Diablo Baldur's Gate
That's what it is, basically.
kind of type action RPG. It was released in 2006. It's just literally pick your available Marvel characters. You can have a team of up to 4. You mainly control one. The AI is controlling the other 3. You can swap between them at any point. And you run around these little areas, doing little missions, smashing the crap out of everything. It's very button bashy, unlock abilities, all that kind of stuff. And then you end up getting more and more characters. And then you can build teams, so you can have all 4 as X-Men or all 4 for the Avengers. And they've combined, they've got some extra bonuses and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's just really weird game to play, because I know it came out a long time ago, but I was kind of playing it for a couple of hours, just kind of zoning out in the kind of comfort of a game that's really easy to play. It's just not difficult.
I loved it. I loved it
strange.
when it released.
Yeah, and I was a big fan of the X-Men Legends.
Yeah, it's got a lot of lore
Legends.
as well, as comic book nerd, and you are as well. It's nice to see that, isn't it? You see all that stuff that you remember, and it's all in there.
Yeah, all the characters are kind of correct, and it's just a really odd but quite comforting game. But,
They released one recently on, past few years on Switch that I haven't touched yet, but it's because it's still 50 quid everywhere I look.
Ouch, that's a bit high.
Yeah, brand new one, but I've heard that's pretty decent.
I'd love to see something like that done now. I think they could do a lot more.
Holly's licensing, mate, it's up in the air, isn't it, nowadays?
Especially with the Marvel Universe. But yeah, no, it's you can still probably play it from, buy it cheaply on the store somewhere apart from the Switch. But yeah, that was it really. That's literally all I've been doing. I've just been doing a lot of stuff at the house at home during this weather. So yeah.
Yeah, it's been another hot one again, hasn't it? It's only just started cooling down in the past few days.
You've picked a perfect week to be doing DIY and building stuff.
Yeah, tell me, but you know what? I've probably sweated out so much. It's ridiculous.
He's just installed a new sauna.
I'm literally going to be buying smaller clothes for me now because I've probably just dropped weight purely from
every cloud, mate. Yeah. Every sweat cloud. Excellent. So that is us all. We're going to move on to our main topic now. For the life of me, I can't remember what it is. So Biggie, let us know.
Wow, this one is one of those lovely nostalgia episodes this week, as we've decided to go way, way back to the childhoods to talk about our favourite children's TV shows. And this is so hard for me because I've got a decade on you guys, and some of the stuff I also remember. We haven't got enough time to talk about some of the shows.
Hey, some of my honourable mentions, the Patreon bit, have passed before you were even born, so you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through as all. We've all picked one thing that we're going to talk about. We will have honourable mentions, as Stig said, round the back for the patrons. And we're going to start with what I can see on my screen, and I think he knows who's first. It's Gadget.
Well, I am bringing a cartoon which predates all of us completely. It's Tom and Jerry. Which is one of the classics, the absolute classics of all times.
Thomas!
Yeah.
That's the one.
I'll get to that.
Minus that.
So, Tom and Jerry was a collection, it's 140-something animated shorts that were made primarily by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer back in the 1940s and 50s. Was created, and I didn't realize this until recently. It was created by William Hanna and Joseph Barbera. I didn't know they had anything to do with it. I always thought it was Chuck Jones, but he just directed episodes rather than being the actual creator. But yeah, it follows the titular Tomcat and Jerry Mouse, and each episode's about 5 minutes long, and it just follows the tales of them knocking 7 bells of shit out of each other. Because, as is the traditional cat and mouse relationship, Tom is perpetually trying to catch Jerry. However, Jerry is a sadistic little cunt and will do anything in his power to wound Tom.
I mean, Jerry is the bad guy in this.
You have to sympathise with Tom.
Yeah, Jerry's the bad guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jerry's evil. He's pure evil.
He's just trying to live.
As soon as
the cat's trying to eat him.
He's not.
I can hear that scream that he makes when he gets hurt.
Oh, God,
I can hear in my head.
Stick that in.
I don't remember, maybe I'm wrong, I've clearly not seen every single episode, but I don't recall Tom trying to eat Jerry. I thought it was always Tom trying to stop Jerry eating stuff from the pantry.
Yeah, it's framed as Tom's trying to stop Jerry doing shit.
Yeah,
it's not
it's not like Roadrunner.
No, there's definitely episodes where he's imagining putting like Jerry in between two bits of
that's true.
Two bits of bread and stuff.
There isn't.
It's a mixture, but you're right. I think he's generally trying to stop him being a rodent, basically.
Yeah, and Tom, as he goes on, overcomplicates everything. He comes up with some rather innovative attempts at trying to stop Jerry. Sometimes involving their dog Spike, who sometimes lives with them, sometimes doesn't, sometimes just happens to be a passing dog. It's always the same. He's a giant bulldog, I think.
Yeah, he is.
And he's also one of the few characters in it who talks. There is also the housemaid, who is what Biggie was referencing at the start, who may or may not be quite a racist stereotype.
No, it definitely is.
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Let's not
Beat around the bush.
Yeah, let's not beat around the
Yeah.
bush at all.
Tom and Jerry is definitely a product of its time, and there is a fair bit of problematic shit in it.
Yeah.
It's definitely set in the South as well, South of America.
Yeah, case in point was one of the episodes I remember. Tom is attempting to woo a lady cat, and in an effort to impress her, he has caught Jerry in this instance, and he stands in front of her. He opens like a ring box which has Jerry stuffed inside it, with a bow around his neck. He pulls Jerry out, and he then picks up a silver platter, takes Jerry, dumps his head in an ashtray so his face comes out black.
Yeah.
Stands him on the metal tray and holds a lighter underneath it to make him dance.
Oh,
Oh
dear.
my god.
This is a kid's cartoon.
Oh dear.
Yeah, there is. It gets repeated on, I think it's on Boomerang, the Sky Channel. You won't see that episode, and there's quite a few you won't actually end up seeing because they don't show them all for stuff like that.
My favourite episodes got banned from telly as well.
Yeah,
It's the one. It's the one with the heaven and hell one. It's quite famous.
Oh, with the kittens.
Yeah.
Oh
these-
god,
these
yeah.
kittens in heaven, dead
Oh,
kittens.
that's
and
it.
stuff,
Yeah.
And then the devils are looking like racist stereotypes as well. But it's a great episode, all things considered. It's all
Tom
a
and
dream
Jerry
at
is
the end.
really good, minus all the shit that from its did. Like, it's
Yeah, well, the thing is, these things, like the problematic stuff from within it, it doesn't tend to be the focus of it. It tends to be a one single throwaway gag in an episode or stuff like that. Like, there'll be stuff like Tom will stick his head in something where Jerry's throwing some dynamite in there, and he'll come out looking like a black and white minstrel.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Yes.
It's bad. It is bad, and there's no excusing it. But you
It
also have to remember that it was
in
made
like
in the
70s.
1940s.
In the 70s version, it kind of all that stopped, but then they started talking.
Yeah, because they brought it back so the original run was from like 1940 to 1956 or something like that. And then they brought it back in the 60s with a new animation style, with a very 60s animation style.
Yeah.
And it was all right. It was some of the same stuff, but the art wasn't as good. Like the original animation was beautiful. It was gorgeous.
yeah.
It was this all hand drawn. I mean, to be fair, the 60s stuff was hand drawn as well, but like the 60s stuff had that very blocky 60s aesthetic.
I think the episodes were longer as well, so they used like the same corridors a lot and stuff.
Yeah, there
all
was a
those
lot of that.
techniques.
So the 60s one I never really liked as much, and then they brought it back in the 80s.
That's
and
the one, yeah.
There were some episodes where they talked. There was some episodes where they weren't attacking each other, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
And then they brought it back from like TV films in the 90s where they were friends.
Yeah, they did a film as
friends.
well.
I thought
Mortal enemies.
I thought the movie was the first time they talked. Because I
No,
remember.
there has been
way.
episodes where they've talked.
Really? Because in that movie, they literally they both make a point of saying, you can talk. It's like, why have you never said anything before? I was like, she's never had anything to say to you.
I don't think they had conversations. They just spoke like a lot of the times. Tom would speak to the camera, to the audience, like a fourth wall breaking thing. Why am I doing this kind of thing?
Oh, right. But like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the first time they talked
to each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
in
not
the
a great film.
It's not.
No. I don't think any of the stuff made after 1956 is particularly good. But yeah, there's ones where they just removed all the violence and like, well, what are we watching this for then?
Yeah, it's like that joke on The Simpsons with Itchy and Scratchy when they removed the violence and they were just hugging each other and stuff.
Well, that's clearly what Itchy and Scratchy is like based on, isn't it? And The Simpsons just took it to another level where they're just like, no, we're going to show you the violence.
It also did some. There's a couple of episodes that get pretty dark as well. There's one episode where I forget what happens in it. I think it's basically both Tom and Jerry end up getting their hearts broken by their respective
yes, I
bows.
remember that one.
And the two of them end up sat on a train track at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I remember
Become
that.
vagrants, don't they, at the end?
Yeah, what? No, they're sitting on a train track.
to die.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I know there's a few where they become vagrants and they've got the stick and the blanket and they're walking away.
I'm just looking now at the ones from the 40s and that, and like there's some classics here, like the Cat Concerto, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Mouse, the Invisible Mouse. There's the Hollywood Ball. These are like absolutely brilliant episodes that I can remember them all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The I think the Cat Concerto is up there for one of my favorite episodes of all time.
It's brilliant.
If you haven't seen that one, it's a really simple episode. It's Tom. He's in suit jacket and tails.
Composer, isn't he?
No, he's not. He's a concert pianist.
Oh yeah. Oh, and it keeps flopping up,
Hollywood
doesn't
Bowl is
His thing keeps popping up and hitting him in the face.
Yeah, but he's doing a performance. He's sat there playing the piano, and for some inexplicable reason that no context for it, Jerry lives in the piano.
Yep.
And as a result, Jerry is not happy about being disturbed by this concert going on, so decides to fuck Tom's shit
Smashing
up.
his hands on by putting the lid down and stuff.
Yeah, but it's one of those episodes that, and it was the 1940s were great for this for cartoons, where it's all score. It's all music.
Yeah.
And everything is animated against the music. Everything is perfect, and you even get stuff like Jerry ripping the hammers off the piano and then playing more notes for Thomas to try and keep up with.
That's right. Yeah.
And it gradually gets faster and faster and faster, and by the end, Tom's suit's kind of tearing off him. He's so hot and tired, and he just passes out at the end. It's so funny. There's another one. I've been looking for the episode title because I can't remember which episode it is, but the entire run of the episode is Tom creates a giant Rube Goldberg machine to try and finally catch Jerry. It's the most complicated thing in the world, and the machine goes on. There's fans, there's burners coming up that break strings, and everything goes around. And the culmination of it at the end is a safe falling on Jerry as he walks out of his little mouse hole. And you see Tom through conception, through building it, through fucking it up, through experimentation.
He buys it all from the Acme Corporation, doesn't he?
Of course.
No, that's Looney Tunes.
Oh, is that Looney Tunes? Oh.
Tom and Jerry doesn't do Acme.
Oh.
That would have made sense. I thought so.
And it's just a brilliant thing where at the very end, Tom manages to fuck it up because he mistimed something. He sees Jerry, goes to grab him, jumps right under the safe as it comes down on him. The poor cat has no luck whatsoever.
The French... I'm going to say French Revolution when the...
Oh, yeah.
The Mouseketeers or something.
Yeah, there's the two Mouseketeers.
Yeah.
And he's got that little French mouse that has that little sing
The little white mouse, Alouette. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's one of the classics. I mean, they get other characters in it. There's Jerry's cousin as well, where you get Jerry's streetwise cousin who does talk and he has a New York accent.
Yeah.
And isn't scared of Tom whatsoever. And actually ends up wrecking shit with him.
There's the Huckleberry Finn episode as well, where they're going down the river and stuff. There's loads, man. There
is, and it's absolutely worth watching. If you can find, I mean, the hardest thing is it's almost impossible to find the episodes because as soon as someone uploads one to YouTube, they get pulled.
Oh yeah, it's because there's massive Blu-ray editions, isn't there, where every single one's on it, but they do it in volumes. They're
hard to get in this country as well. The one place I would say you can probably watch them is Amazon Prime has a few collections up.
Yeah.
But it's not exhaustive. You're not going to get all the episodes, but is absolutely worth a watch. Just go watch Tom and Jerry. It's so good.
Yeah, it is good.
On TV
all the time.
Afternoon or something, and it was just you knew at a certain point it would be on every single day.
Yeah, Boomerang was the big one, wasn't it?
It was Cartoon Network before it turned to Boomerang. Yeah.
And when even on terrestrial telly, on a Saturday afternoon, just before you got the afternoon football results would come on, you'd have a couple 15 minutes of cartoons, and there'd be a couple of Tom and Jerry's in there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was a big 90s throwback. Me thinking about when you get the pools results.
Yeah.
You would never guess
local pools as well.
The last time that I saw Tom and Jerry is just the most random thing ever.
Right.
When you said Tom and Jerry, it was at 3 a.m. in the morning in not a kebab shop. It's more like a little cafe, but they did kebabs and things in Beirut.
Oh.
Just random. It's just my friend who used to live there, and it's right, let's go get some of this after a night out. And I was just sat eating my chicken kebab thing, and there they had Tom. They were just playing repeats of Tom and Jerry on the TV screen in there. I very much enjoyed it. Yeah.
You would.
Excellent. Brilliant. Tom and Jerry, watch it. There are some websites that are dedicated to putting the best episodes and the ones that you have to watch and stuff like that. So yeah, go for that. We're going to move on to me now. We're going to talk about a show that I have discussed before, and it's always fascinated me, and it's always pissed me off at the same time. It's a show called Bernard's Watch. I've brought this up many times because it fucks me up.
I'm sure you've had a rant about this on this show before.
I have, and I'm going to do it again. So, for people that don't know, Bernard's Watch is a British children's drama series about a young boy who could stop time with a magical pocket watch. The show was created by Andrew Norris and was produced for 7 series that aired on CITV from 14th of November 1997 till 2005.
Fuck off! It was going that long.
I've never seen this.
So, Bernard's Watch. Right. So basically, there's two timelines to Bernard's Watch. Yeah, believe me, it gets very Doctor Who. So in 2005, it was rebooted. Like, it's still Bernard, but it's rebooted. So in the original Bernard was given a watch by a magic postman because he was always late, and his mum and dad nearly divorced due to Bernard being a little bastard. So the rules were, by the postman, you could not commit crimes with this watch, and you should always make time go back to normal eventually. And in the reboot, the watch magically appears through the window to a new Bernard, and there were no rules. So the reboot was a lot darker in tone. The show had 79 episodes.
There were only 2 kids called Bernard.
No, it was supposed to be the same Bernard, just played by another actor, because obviously it's nearly 10 years later. But yeah, it was rebooted. So there's 79 episodes over 7 seasons, like I said. And do you know what the IMDb rating of it is? 7.2, which is pretty favourable for a kid's show.
Really? That high?
Yeah, Bernard's Watch. So the reason it basically captured my imagination as a kid and up to being a teenager still, because I've watched every single episode of Bernard's Watch, even the reboot. I think it's good, but it's so stressful. Because in my head, I'm thinking of scenarios that don't ever happen in the show, like Bernard's in the first run of Bernard. Let's say phase 1 of Bernard. He doesn't commit any crimes. He's a good kid. Like on the first episode, when he gets the watch, he goes shopping. There's a queue. What does he do? He gets his shopping, pushes the queue by stopping time, and then he puts the money down and walks off.
Ooh.
So technically he's fucking up stock levels in that shop, but other than that, at least he's paid for it.
Of course he is. At the end of the day, when they're topping up the till and it's out,
yeah, till's up.
That poor cashier is going to get a right fucking.
Yeah. He's not breaking any laws, but yeah. And then there's stuff like making his mum and dad like each other again and stuff like. There's a bit of a narrative undertone to that. He's a cute kid and that he means well. And there's one episode where they're at a football game and he's got his football kit on, and Bernard's crap at football. He's proper crap. And there's a penalty, and then for no reason, the coach says that Bernard, it's your time to shine. So what does he do? As he kicks the ball, he stops time. He runs up to the goalie and pulls his shorts down. So then he goes back to his position with his foot in air, presses the watch again, and goalie's like, "Oh no!" and he scores the winning goal. So technically not breaking any crimes, but a bit naughty.
Could have used that a few weeks ago.
But yeah, it's just that kind of thing. But it used to stress me out mainly because what if like something bad happened to Bernard? If he'd stopped time because the whole universe stopped. If Bernard didn't press that watch again, the pocket watch, time would never exist anymore. It'd just be stopped. What if Bernard, like...
I think you're pitching a Twilight Zone episode here.
Yeah, but what if he... I know, God forbid, Bernard had a heart attack or something like that and he couldn't press the thing, and then that's it. What happens? And like, there's too much science to think about as well. Like, the fucked up thing is, like, because it's a really low-budget kids' show, when he does stop time, like, it doesn't stop raining. The clouds keep moving, wind keeps blowing, but wouldn't you, I don't know how it works, but wouldn't like the Earth's tilt, wouldn't you fall off it? Do you know, would you fall off the Earth and it keeps, I don't understand how it works. It's fucking stressing me out.
Is it just humans that stop?
No, because dogs stop
objects as well.
Dogs and frisbees.
Maybe just living things?
No, frisbees stop and football stop. It's fucking...
Could you possibly be overthinking a children's TV show from the 90s?
But then...
That's got to be a title there.
But the reboot happened, and it got dark. Because there was a... so, basically, I've got Ryan Watson took over the role of Bernard in 2003 for the Phase 2. The revamped edition of the series mainly centred on Bernard in primary school, so shit's kicking off. The revamped edition of the series mainly centred on Bernard's fascination with a girl. So there's a lot of stuff where he uses his watch to get back at his high school teacher, Miss Savage, whom he deems a bully, and also Nicolette is the girlfriend that he's after. So he just like there's one scene where he's considered Bernard's friend is like chatting Nicolette up. He's pulling all the right moves and stuff like that. It's working. She's into it. So what does new Bernard do? What would old Bernard do? He'd pull his pants down, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but new Bernard puts like liquid in his, so it looks like he's pissed his pants.
That's exactly what new Bernard does. That's exactly what he does. He makes it look like he's pissed his pants. So new Bernard's an absolute even worse bastard. In the reboot as well,
Too much power.
Bernard doesn't seem to have any parents. He just lives alone. Which is weird. There's no parents. He does stuff like when he goes to the shop, he doesn't pay for anything. So it's like the darkest timeline of Bernard. I know I've said Bernard a lot, but
the word's lost all meaning to me.
It's a proper the reboot like talks about like existentialism and stuff like that for a kids show. Like at one point he throws the watch, and as he throws the watch, it presses the top the stop time, and he doesn't realise time's stopped. He's not affected by it because obviously he's the master of the watch, and he's just sat in his bedroom like playing on his Mega Drive, and like his Mega Drive seems to work when time stops. So electricity's flowing, but everyone else is just like perpetually stuck in time, and then like he falls asleep, he wakes back up at next, and the day hasn't changed. Do you know what I mean? It's fucked up. But yeah, it's really good. I mean, you can get them all on DVD, and
You have them all on DVD.
I'm all right.
You already have them.
I'm saying, do you have them all on DVD?
Oh, do I? No. I've found other means to watch Bernard watch. Basically, it's the kind of thing that Phase 2 Bernard would do. That's how I've been watching them. It's just a really good show that obviously it can make kids think about this kind of power, being power mad, and by the end of it, Bernard's a dictator. Do you know what I mean? I mean, not literally. He just abuses power, and at the end of the very, very, very... I'm going to spoil the very last episode of Bernard. He gets the watch taken off him.
Please don't.
I know. He gets the watch taken off him, and that passes on to a girl that's not named. So who knows? We might get Bernadette's watch. Yeah, that's what. We might get that in 2022. You never know. But yeah, Bernard's watch, man, I love it.
The thing is, the fact that you've overthought it. Fair enough. That's you. You're going to do that.
Yeah.
But you haven't overthought it quite enough. Because when you were mentioned there, like Bernard would go into a shop and he'd like stop time just to skip the queue and all that. Has no one ever considered the emotional trauma of those shopkeepers who periodically just see money appear right in front of them?
Yeah, this is it. And like in some episodes, Bernard's like watching TV or playing Mega Drive as his stop time. So does the CCTV still work in the supermarket? Can people see that he's got these powers? I don't know how it works, and it fucks me off. It stresses me out.
You really have spent some time thinking about this, haven't you?
This Reddit threads about it, about Bernard's watch and the power he wields. It's just, and who is the postman that gave him it in the first place?
So why has this child been entrusted with the ability to stop time for the entire galaxy, entire universe?
And the postman just like turns around and gives him that cheeky wink, cling, and and then he's gone. Who the fuck's that postman? Who is he? I want the spin-off. Bernard in the future.
So hang on, the postman gives him a watch, like Gadget says, which has this incredible power.
Yeah.
And all he uses it for is for skipping queues and scoring goals.
And not being late for school and stuff, yeah.
And from what I understand, postmen are really, really overworked as well. So why does a postman not keep it, do all his deliveries, and then, you know...
Because I think the postman, I mean, it doesn't get said because we only see him in the first and the last episode. I think he understood the burden of that power, and it was a curse as well as a boon. So you never know.
Is that why he winks? It's like, you fucking...
Yeah, it's your turn now, Bernard.
And Bernard was always a little shit to him, so he gave him the curse.
Yeah. And now the actor that played Bernard, he's a doctor in real life, so you never know. You could become a doctor if you get a watch. But yeah, let's move on. I don't know.
I like that's the lesson that you're taking from it.
It's a tenuous link.
As life lessons go, that is.
You get a watch, you might become a doctor. It's tenuous, but we'll move on.
Or a Time Lord.
Or a Time Lord, that's it.
Oh.
So, Stig, what you got?
This is an art attack.
Uh-oh.
This is an art attack. This is art attack. This is 100% inspired by your artwork you did for us, because as fucking shitloads of great TV shows out there, and I saw that and I just thought, you know what? I used to watch that all the time and make a point of making sure that I could watch Art Attack because I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I put it in for a reason because I loved it as well.
It's originally it was a segment on a TV show called Number 73, which was Neil Buchanan as well, and then it became its own series. It ran from 1990 to 2007.
What a run!
Really?
Presented by National Treasure Neil Buchanan.
Yeah, Banksy.
It was revived again in 2011 to 2015 with some random presenters, but gives a shit.
They're not Neil Buchanan. No, who cares?
It's not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not Neil Buchanan. It's some random people who, obviously didn't.
Did Neil Buchanan have a Brummie accent? Was he from Birmingham?
Scouse.
Ah, there we go.
So he wrote, produced the series, came up with the majority of the creative ideas, and it's just a quintessential British show, isn't it?
Yeah, can you imagine being American listening to all things we've been discussing so far?
Yeah, so this was a simple, wholesome show presented by one man doing art and showing kids how to make simple art projects or teaching them techniques. I used to look. I've been watching episodes of this as well, like just a bit of nostalgia trip watching some of it. And Buchanan's such a great presenter. He always showing you how to do stuff in like this calm, non-frantic tone. Not like a lot of the 90s TV kids presenters where it's all just like, like.
Yeah, he's not exactly Dave Benson Phillips, is he?
Exactly. He's just kind of like, if you do this, you can just. He's the UK's Bob Ross.
Yeah, he's even got curly hair as well.
Yeah, that kind of like just calm tone, showing you how to do things. And if you like to do that, you could do like this, or you could do that. And it just kind of casually shows you how to do things. So, yeah, while it's only him in a studio by himself, the way he presented and talked to you as a kid he wasn't like talking down to you, like I know how to do this. Like you obviously
he wasn't condescending, was he?
No, not at all. He was very much like. He probably knew that most kids watching that would never be able to create anything as good as him, but he made you feel like you could.
like getting lessons by Da Vinci.
Yeah, like you definitely weren't going to be able to like just knock up something quick like he did. Like, but that trying to keep along with him or like, I'll do that again later. Like you felt like, I could do that. That looks, simple enough to do. But he'd just do so many different things. Like I've been watching some, and he was making picture frames made out of sponges. He's just like, I get some scourers, chopping them in half, and then you glue them together like this.
PVA glue?
The tape in. Yeah, bit of PVA glue, bit of tape here, and there you go. You've got a frame made out of sponge.
What did they used to call it? Sticky back plastic.
Yeah.
They call it tape, did they?
MacGyver of artwork.
Oh, is that Bruce Peter?
And then there was other ones who's just like drawing gooey zombies, how to make faces with flappy ears using a stick and split pins, or door creatures, and it's just full of
all needed stuff as well.
It's so full of like wonderful and creative ideas for kids, and it was simple stuff that you could try at home and do along with him as well. Like there was never anything that too complicated. And then in between that, obviously, sometimes he'd tell you how to do a few techniques like cross shading and stuff like that. Yeah, I just used to love watching it, and I would always watch like this week. It's Art Attack time. I'd be there after school and watch it, and he'd always do the thing that did, here's one I made earlier kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So he started off going, this is what you do. And then, if you want to do it like this and do it like that, you could create something like this. And then there's his finished product ready for it to show you. And then he obviously, in between all that, we had a little 5-minute segment where he'd do some big art project.
Oh,
That's what I remember most about it. I used to love
the
that.
bird's eye view.
Yeah, so he would create huge pieces of art using anything.
Jumpers.
So like boxes, bed sheets, clothes, sand, salt, ribbons, white line machine. You know, like you'd mark a cricket pitch or a rugby pitch or something. You'd get one of them and make some. Even food. Like when I saw, he did this. He was at the zoo and he did this big tiger where he'd use a few different fabrics and stuff to make the body, and then he'd done all the little accents and small parts of the tiger using stuff like carrots, rice, dog biscuits, like just random things like to make up this big huge thing. And then to break up the segments as well, you had the head.
It's me, the head.
Yeah, so this was if you've not seen it, it was a puppet statue. It's a puppet of a statue of a statue head.
Yeah,
and he's kind of used as a bit of a comic relief to break up the segments.
He was crap, wasn't he?
He's so like he's proper crap.
Here's my pasta drawing, and the pasta just like falls off.
Falls off. Yeah, he tried to recreate what Neil Buchanan had done, and it was always unsuccessful. And I also found out this today that he's got the word "sex" in his hair.
What?
He does.
Hey?
Look up the Art Attack puppet.
I've got a picture on my phone because I did the artwork,
and it's got like in his hair, like they've kind of modelled it so it looks like the word "sex" in his hair.
Oh my god, it does!
Yeah,
what a bastard!
But the theme tune, as Oodle so lovely started when I started this segment, absolute banger.
Yeah, one
what
of the
a
best.
tune that was, just so good. Later, completely ruined in the 90s. They started fucking around with it and making it like all like kind of boingy boing like noises in there, and it was just like and then one of them
boingy noises.
Yeah, that's the best way I could describe it. And like there was one that sounded like this really shit like pop punk version.
Oh, so
an
anarchist Art Attack.
It just none of them. The new ones sounded great, but that 90s tune from the early 90s to like throughout the 90s, that absolute banger, and then it'd come with that, the flash card on the screen, then it'd like another little round of drums had hit in.
Didn't it start with and then
it did, and then it'd go to the title screen and it'd go oh, so good.
See, I've just been singing the song in my head, or what I thought was the theme tune, just having a little bop, and I've just realised it's Blind Date that I'm singing.
It's Blind Date.
We can maybe get onto that one another episode.
Yeah.
The sets were great as well. I never kind of really took much notice of that when I was a kid, but when I was watching these videos, I realised how cool the sets were. Like it was just
massive area where he's in, wasn't it?
Yeah, big, huge like area, but like behind him just had like all these huge like art props. So you'd have like a big like paint thing there behind him. There'd be huge pencils and highlighters and pencil cases and like paintbrushes, but like absolutely massive ones like scattered around the room. But yeah, I just love it. I used to watch it all the time.
Yeah, man, good pick.
It was just when you put that up there, I was just like, because I was thinking about like all the great cartoons, and there's plenty I could talk about. And I saw that, and I was just like, I need to talk about Art Attack.
I mean, we would be remiss not to discuss the two elephants in the room when it comes to Art Attack. The first one is Neil Buchanan's in a death metal band.
It's not a death metal band.
I thought he was, wasn't he?
He's in a metal band.
No. He's and in fact, I was going to bring this one up. If you look in the Discord, there's a picture of him playing.
In my head,
live.
it's a death metal band.
No, it's a new wave of British heavy metal band called Marseille.
So it's right, it's more thrash then.
No, more like Iron Maiden.
Oh right,
that's what new wave of British heavy metal
there
is.
In that picture in his big bright Art Attack jumper, and now he's there with leather jacket and
the second elephant in the room is a lot of people in the UK believe him to be Banksy.
He has denied this.
He has denied it.
Categorically denied it, but obviously if you were Banksy, you would. But I do love the idea that one day we find out who Banksy is and it's Neil Buchanan. Imagine that.
I mean, that would be the most amazing thing.
It would be.
And if you like that, you can do it like this.
Yeah.
I would not be mad at all in the slightest for Banksy to be Neil Buchanan.
No.
Do we know what he's doing now, apart from being in an Iron Maiden type band?
I think it just helps produce shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Things like backstage production.
I do know. I remember that he was on Zap for a while, wasn't it? As the hands, the crafty hands that make the thing.
Yeah,
he was on that. But that was concurrent with Art Attack, wasn't it?
I'm so glad that he never turned out to be Rogan. It would break my heart if he did.
Yeah, he's not a baddie. He's not. Neil Buchanan is a goodie, and he always will be. But yeah, good pick, man. Good pick. Candy, what you got?
I'm going to talk about a cartoon that I just still love to this day, and it's Count Duckula.
Yes! Oh, excellent.
And I'm going to put the theme tune in right here because it's amazing.
Duckula, home for many centuries to a dreadful dynasty of vicious vampire ducks, the Counts of Duckula. Legend has it that these foul beings can be destroyed by escape through the heart or exposure to sunlight. This does not suffice, however, for they may be brought back to life by means of a secret rite that can be performed once a century when the moon is in the 8th house. Blood. I'll get it! The latest reincarnation did not run according to plan.
In the heart of Transylvania, in the Vampire Hall of Fame, yeah, there's not a vampire any other. He won't bite, feast the man, cause he's a vegetarian, and things never run to plan for. If you're looking for some fun, you can always count upon the wild and wacky one they call
Duckula. Count Duckula.
So Count Duckula was released in 1988, and I'm kind of ashamed to say that I was around for the first go-around, so I'm that old. It was a spin-off from Danger Mouse and starred Del Boy, a.k.a. David Jason, as a vegetarian vampire duck who dreams of fame and fortune. It features three main characters, Duckula, Igor, and Nanny, and the antagonist, Dr. von Goosefing.
Yes.
Whose voice was just absolutely incredible, like the biggest ham German accent you could possibly imagine.
Sometimes so hammy it was unintelligible as well. There's a few phrases that he comes out with. To this day, I still don't know what he's saying.
Do it again. Count Duckula the 17th was created by Igor and Nanny in a ritual which takes place every 100 years. Unfortunately, the ritual went wrong when Nanny accidentally replaced blood with tomato ketchup, and that's why he's been created as a vegetarian. Yep. And many episodes revolve around Igor's attempt to turn Duckula into a proper vampire.
He doesn't have real teeth, does he?
No, you can see it. It's in the opening shot, isn't it? He takes them out.
He doesn't have teeth.
And then the carrot attacks him.
Yeah.
So there's vampire carrots, apparently. Igor wants nothing more than to be the butler of an evil, blood-drinking vampire, just like the good old days. And he kind of brings the dark streak of the show's humour. He's kind of... he's like a kind of a stock Igor character that you see in all the old Dracula films, all the old Dracula iterations, and his voice acts is like a sort of deep, booming, like Christopher Lee sort of style. Is he like
a vulture? What kind of bird is he?
Is he a vulture or is he like an old eagle or something?
Maybe a bald eagle or something.
Because he's got a bald head, doesn't he? He's got like a little pink little...
I know they're all birds, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Nanny's probably a
chicken
owl, isn't she?
No, he's according to the Wikipedia, he is a hunched, balding, cultured vulture with a deep, slow voice and delights in the macabre.
Oh, well, I do apologise.
Nanny looks like a really
I'm sorry
big
about
chick.
that, Igor. She does. I love Nanny's just she's the housekeeper and she's just absolutely my favourite character.
She has her arm in a sling or something.
Yeah, because she doesn't use the door. That's the whole thing. Like, use the door, Nanny. She always comes fucking bulldozing through the walls. And that's actually one of Igor's catchphrases, isn't it? Like, Nanny, use the door. She's just smashing through shit left, right, and centre. She's got the arm perpetually in a cast. And she has like a thick West Country accent as well.
I was just going to say, there must be some similarity there.
I was going to say, I think I see myself in her just running through walls. She always like patronises Count Duckula as well. She's like, "Oh, my little ducky boos," you know. She's all sort of motherly and looking after him, just much to Igor's chagrin. I still maintain that Duckula is just one of the funniest shows that's ever been, like kids shows. That's been
I
on
genuinely
TV.
think it's better than Danger Mouse, and he
is.
was a baddie in Danger Mouse, wasn't he?
Well, a version of him was, and I think because he actually was he was a proper vampire in Danger Mouse, and I think they kind of got round it with the intro of the cartoon. They kind of reinvented him a bit as a vegetarian.
I think it's better, me.
Yeah. it was released in the 80s, and because of that, it got away with a lot of adult humor, and sort of more so even than movies like Shrek and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, it went over my head when I watched it when I was 3, but it makes it. I was watching episodes this evening just before I started the recording, just to kind of catch up, and it's just hilarious. And I'll give you an example. The title of the first episode is "No Sax Please Were Egyptian," and one of the jokes in it is so Nanny's notoriously thick and she doesn't know shit. And they're looking at this statue of Anubis, and she's like, "A nudist?" And, "No, Nanny, not a nudist, Anubis."
I had that VHS, that first VHS, which has "No Sax Please Were Egyptian," "The Mutinous Penguins," and "One Stormy Night" on it.
Oh yeah.
My favorite Duckula gag. Actually, to be fair, it might be that Anubis nudist one, because it's one of those gags that just goes on ever so slightly too long as well. It's like a David Brent awkwardness kind of thing,
staring at each other.
But in the Mutinous Penguins, they're on a boat in the Arctic. It's piratical penguins, and it's one of these things. It's 1980s cartoons and even to be fair, 1980s writing was just quick throwaway little jokes, and it's
dad jokes.
And the penguins are getting into a bit of a seafaring battle, and the captain goes, "Go there, fire the grape shot." And the other one says, "Sir, why don't we fire the pineapple shot? It'll hurt more."
Oh dear!
Just stupid stuff like that.
Is that
the one makes me giggle every time.
Is that the one where one of them, I think it might be Igor, or a family friend maybe gets seasick and they say, "Oh, you'll be fine, just put your head between your legs," and he literally takes his head off and puts it in between his legs.
Yeah. There's one episode where they go to Loch Ness Monster as well.
The comfy sofa, not the comfy sofa. Sorry, I'm just going to keep quoting it here because
I just remember the one with Loch Ness Monster. I believe it exists in that as well, in that universe. So, yeah, it's. I really liked Duckula. I liked that theme tune though. Fuck,
absolute banger. And the outro as well. Like, I remember as a kid, I was really captivated. Like, as you said, the song was a banger, but then the art style as well. Do you remember? It was kind of like
it's like pop art, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the red background, but then also actual sort of photos of like horror actors and actresses.
It's like if you remember the original iPod adverts when it was just the background pop art advert, where they're just dancing and you just see the silhouettes. Yeah. It's like that, isn't it?
And it's sort of juxtaposed against the animated characters too. So I remember just watching that and thinking, yeah, that's just being kind of mesmerised by it. The art style of the whole thing actually is pretty cool. It's a little bit different to the sort of the typical He-Man sort of styles. It uses a lot of like greens and purples rather than Brave Star and He-Man and stuff. And that kind of used more oranges and earthy tones and big muscles and, they were
all animated in Japan though and stuff like that, weren't they? So, and then brought
it's got a very British look because Danger Mouse had the same sort of style as well, but it wasn't quite. I didn't think Danger Mouse had quite the feel that Duckula did.
No.
And all the gargoyles and the cobwebs and stuff and the spooky kind of static backgrounds I was really attracted to as well. And I think that's kind of followed me through life a bit as well. Like, Gadget, you've been to my house. I basically live in Castle Duckula.
You do. Even to the point where periodically it just disappears and goes somewhere else for a little while.
Just fucks off. You can't predict it. You never know what's going to happen. But yeah, I was thoroughly enjoying watching all the episodes again as I was making notes. So I think I'm going to go back. They're all on YouTube, so I'm going to go back.
Yeah, they are all
on.
Yeah, there's a lot of Bernard's Watch on YouTube as well. If you want to watch that as well.
I mean, you haven't really sold it, but I'm quite interested.
Watch it. But yeah, Duckula is brilliant. I've watched it with my kids, and my kids love it as well. It's one of those shows that, despite its age, still holds up. I think for your eyes and for your ears. Do you know what I mean? It's the voice acting is impeccable, and it just still looks great. So,
and from what I saw, there wasn't anything that was too problematic.
Oh no,
not to the extent of Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's one of those rare cartoons from the 80s without anything problematic in it, because I think it's such a unique little setting that it has.
Yeah,
it doesn't need to play on tropes.
There's no like real world stuff in it, is there? It's just all fantasy and. Yeah.
It was just a bit naughty in places. I think that's the worst you can say.
A bit like Carry On films, isn't it? A bit innuendos. Yeah. Excellent. Good pick. Right then. Okay, Boomer. What you got?
thunder, 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 Thundercats. Oh! There you go.
Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are loose. Feel the magic, hear the roar. Thundercats are loose. Thunder, 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 Thundercats. Thunder, 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 Thundercats. Thunder, thunder, Thundercats. Thunder, 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 Thundercats.
I had to give this a bit of thought because I'm trying to remember when I was playing with all my little toys as a kid, which was my favourite, which one did I have more of it of the others? Because I don't know if you guys were the same. Your parents may have bought the toys to stuff that you're into.
Oh, yes.
And you might have a mix match. You didn't like have a full set of everything.
No.
But you'd have a real mismatch of all the others.
Darth Vader fighting Panthero.
Yeah, exactly. And this was it for me. It was Thundercats. And I love this show, man. I mean,
I think it's incredible.
The theme tunes, just, I don't know if we want to do like a Twitter poll or something just for a bit of fun to see which ones we've chosen or out of
I can promise you now, Bernard's Watch isn't a good theme tune.
No. But it's an absolute banger, man, that theme tune. Just the fact that you got that guitar solo in there, you've got Mum Ra doing his evil laugh, you've got a cat growling at one point, all mixed in perfectly together. But as a show, I mean, I loved it. I thought it was excellent. And it's a bit of a weird one because at the end, I don't know if you guys remember, almost at the end of every episode, it was that horrible thing that I think He-Man did the ending where they all had a little story to tell about what was good and what was bad.
Until next time, friends.
But Thundercats was completely just that laughter where they almost stopped.
Laughing the freeze frame.
Yeah, it was just
And snarf, snarf.
Yeah, Thundercats, man. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was attracted to Chitara at one point. I think as a furry, she is as sexy as hell. And I don't know if you guys remember the first episode, they were pretty much naked. It's so bizarre. They didn't put uniforms on until the end of the first episode, I think it is.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's really weird that they're running around naked, all of them. But yeah, just they're fighting Mum Ra, who again is one of those evil villains that happens to choose the worst people to help him.
Oh god, his henchmen are crap.
Plans. I don't know if you guys remember the evil mutants that supported him, but there was Slife, Monkey and Jackal Man, Rataro.
I remember him.
Yeah, Vulture Man. Yeah, and in fact, they ran out of ideas at one point because by the end, with some of the people that supported them, they actually had a snowman.
Yeah.
Who has a cat that supported him that was called Snow Meow.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I love this show. I thought the action was great. The weapons were super.
You know, it's pure anime as well.
It was great. They had
wasn't it animated by a Japanese animation?
Yeah, same as Transformers as well.
They were really busy guys. But Chitara had a staff. Tigra, he had the bolo whip.
Yep.
The nunchucks for Panthero, and obviously you've got Lion-O with his Sword of Omens that gave him sight beyond sight.
Yeah, I remember the. Do you ever watch Robot Chicken when he uses his sight beyond sight to watch people in the toilets?
Yes.
And he had the annoying wily cat and Kit. They were just annoying.
Yeah, the twins.
And they had some really strange characters as well. The Burbills, do you remember them?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, I don't know, the cat's lair. It was just like the whole bundle. And I was a big fan of He-Man as well. But
it's got a great lineage as Thundercats because it's like it got rebooted in the past decade, and it's really the reboot's like really like earnest and sincere and really like strong narrative and stuff like that. It's really good.
Have you seen the latest reboot?
I was going to say the reboot. No,
the 2011 reboot. I think what Oodles is probably talking about.
Yeah.
Thundercats Raw is like think Thundercats on like meth.
Oh no!
Oh, no, LSD.
They've changed the art style entirely and
Oh
made
wow,
it
they
like
really have. I've just looked it
Just
up.
look up Thundercats Raw, and you're like,
Yeah, that is
what?
not good.
Yeah, the 2011 one. They made it like
It's quite funny though.
like they made it like it's a backstory to Lion-O and stuff like that, and it's really good. And Mumra and why he pretends to be that little wizard and then he becomes Mumra, and why the hell is a mummy in the first place. And
Mumra's really, when I was a kid, he's really scary.
Mumra,
I was terrified by Mumra in the opening cutscene, like where he kind of flexes and all like the bandages go off in all directions.
Really cool.
Yeah.
They never did a like a Hollywood film of Thundercats, did they?
Oh,
They nearly
they've tried
did,
so
because-
many
Didn't they want Brad
times.
Pitt as at Lion-O? I remember that rumor going across.
Who's the girl from Resident Evil movies?
Mila
Mila
Jovovich.
She wanted to play Chitara at one
Of
point.
course she did.
So Paul W.S. Anderson probably would have directed it in that case
Oh.
if she wanted to be involved.
So thankfully, that didn't
Enemy of the
happen.
show, Paul W.S.
Currently,
Anderson.
there's no release date except Thundercats, as Wingard and Barrett have recently undertaken a complete script rewrite. Slightly, Thundercats
again.
will not be hitting theaters in 2021. Obviously not, but apparently it's in production. But again, so that's been in production for years, and so has a new He-Man live action. So
I'm telling you, Oodles, pick up your phone and Google Thundercats Raw because I want to see your reaction to it.
Thundercats Raw.
While he's doing that, I'll let you know, just interestingly, they was despite the amount of characters they had in the show, they only had a small circle of voice actors, with only 6 providing voices for the entire first season. The Lynn Lipton, who did Chitara and Wildcat, also provided voices for every single female character that appeared. So they are really limited. And Panthro could only basically do Panthro because he had such a deep bass voice that was literally all he could do.
Oh, it looks like Gumball. Oh, it's crap. Oh, it looks awful. Like Adventure Time Gumball shite that people love. Oh, no. What? Oh, no. Oh, it
see, I
looks
get
shite.
trying to think new different things, like with the recent She-Ra, like the animated style with that. It's a nice new take on it.
Look at Tigra.
So, but the Thundercats
dungarees
one
on.
it's just odd, isn't it? Big bulging eyes, just like pop like on the top of
It
their
just
heads.
looks like Amazing World of Gumball or whatever that thing that the kids watch.
If you watch the trailer for it, like the voices just don't match. Like Lion-O's voice actor sounds like Steven Universe and stuff like that.
It's
like,
a
it sounds
shame
like
because
kid.
you can make that kind of character, like the Teen Titans Go. That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's in that kind of style, but no.
No. And I think it's interesting, just going back into this, I was looking a bit of research about the show, and I completely forgot that Lion-O, for some reason, gets affected when they crash, and he ends up, because they're in like cryo freeze, whatever you call it, that he ends up, some weird thing happens to him where he doesn't age. So his body does, but not his mind.
Yes.
So he's still a child in an adult's body, which explains why he's always learning every episode.
Yeah, they do
Because
that
he's
in the
always a
reboot.
hothead.
Well, the 2011 reboot. Like a spoiler alert for that as well. It gets to the point where his mind has aged way beyond, and he gets dementia and stuff. It's really like proper sad. But yeah, he's fucking I always forget about that bit, the cryo thing, and the fact that the Thundercats aren't a native species to that world.
Yeah, they crash land
Yeah,
on that planet.
it's fucking wild.
They end up helping all the weird people that they meet. But yeah, the cats there was really awesome with the lasers that came out of the eyes. It was just, I wanted everything from that
But
show.
nobody likes Snarf, do they?
No, isn't
No.
shit.
Fuck Snarf.
Yeah. And I'll end it on that, I think.
Excellent. All good, all great picks, and we'll have more to discuss round the back, but I'm sure we've got a bulging sack that needs unleashing and exploding upon everyone's ears.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, for the mailbag, starting off, Sealy D&D has come in with a Captain Bucky O'Hare,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
or, and this may be the greatest 1980s theme tune of all time, the Raccoons.
Come on, remind me how it goes. Just hum it to me. I'm thinking.
You're going to have to remember yourself.
I remember with Cyril Sneer and stuff. I remember raccoons. Oh, what is it? I
don't remember it
I've
at all.
got gummy bears in my head. Gummy bears bouncing here and
Hang
there.
on, I'm just going to listen to it.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's one of those. It's one of those ones you'll have to listen to because it doesn't make any mention of the record. It's just basically just used a pop song for it, but it's an absolute banger.
what is that now?
Just take your time and just have a quick listen to it. I'll stick it in here for the listeners so they
Okay.
can hear a little segment of it.
Okay, I bet I can start singing it. Oh, here we go. I can remember what I'm seeing. I don't remember this fucking like journey ballad.
Fucking great.
When darkness falls,
What the fuck is this?
leaving shadows in the night.
Is that genuinely what it was?
Don't be afraid.
No fucking way.
This is
Wipe
just
that
like done a pop
fear
song.
from your eyes.
That is not what that was. Surely not.
Keeps on
That's not what was in my head. Nah, I might be thinking a tailspin or something like that as
Don't be
well.
afraid. You're not alone. You can run with us. We got everything you need. Run with us. We are free.
I think as a lot of these cartoons were released in the sort of mid 80s, there's a definite lot of like hair metal sort of theme tunes, aren't there?
definitely.
I mean, I was going to say during Biggie's last section, like Thundercats is probably the reason why I love power metal
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
because the theme tune, the look of it, it's metal as fuck.
And the one that got thrown into the Discord, Pole Position.
Oh, pole position.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh God.
So yeah, two bangers there from Sealy D&D. Ian Ball says, "Fuck yes, Wurzel Gummidge." I love all these shows.
Wurzel
Holy
Wummidge.
shit. Referring to the artwork that Oodles put out with a collection of classic 80s and 90s TV shows on the front.
Yeah, fuck you, Kurt.
Yeah, Wurzel Gummidge had such a weird. Just to jump on that a second, it was created by like a crow man, like a crow god, that like unleashed Wurzel that he can put different heads on and stuff like. It's fucked up, Wurzel Gummidge.
It was. I found it actually quite creepy considering I like the show.
There's a
but when
reboot of that as well.
Mackenzie
Yeah, Mackenzie
He
Crook.
doesn't need it.
Really? But the head's like creepy
that
crow
seems like
man.
the perfect thing for Mackenzie Crook to do, actually.
Yeah, I can see that.
Cult Connections has said Jamie and the Magic Torch,
Yeah.
Will o' the Wisp, Dramarama, and a couple of bangers here, Battle of the Planets,
Oh yes. Now we're talking.
and the Tomorrow People.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really good. That
Never watched any of them.
Tomorrow People
Oh,
are like
you
a
need to watch
drama.
Battle of the Planets. You'd fucking love Battle of the
Yeah,
Planets.
you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would.
Might be the most 80s thing ever made.
Apart from Defenders of the Earth. That's the
True.
most 80s thing you've ever watched.
John Cheatham comes in and says, don't know if it counts, as it wasn't really serialized, but Wallace and Gromit.
It
I'll
counts.
accept it.
Yeah.
Absolute classic, a labour of love that the animators modelled frame by frame for the early stop-motion shorts. Peter Salus's performance is both timeless and utterly adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my daughter fell in love with that show.
My
Or
kids adore it
movies
as well.
I've adored it since day one. I think we talked about this at the
I did
Christmas
too,
didn't
but I couldn't wait to get her to see it, and she fell in love with
That
it.
episode on the
Well,
moon is the most beautiful. Yeah, not episode. That it's the short films, aren't they?
Yeah.
That one on the moon.
The Grand Day Out.
Yeah, Grand Day. It's hauntingly beautiful and terrifying at the same time.
The Oven.
Yeah, on the scale.
There's I saw a thing on Twitter that made me laugh. It's just like everyone like banging on about these billionaires going to space, and no one ever talks about the guy and his dog who already went there just because he ran out of some cheese.
Yeah. In a rocket that he built in his
Yeah.
basement.
Northland Robbers says, "Ooh, I'd like to mention Thunderbirds, my all-time best kids TV show. Why didn't we? Yeah, Thunderbirds was amazing. I had all the toys. Tried to get my kids to watch it a couple of weeks ago, but they couldn't appreciate Super Marionation. Yes, it's a word.
Yes,
I know
it is.
like I did back in the day. Also, the Sooty Show was an absolute classic and Hall of Fame worthy for for kids TV shows.
Yeah, Sooty Sweep and Sue in that little black van. What was his name that drove the van? What was his name?
Matthew?
Matthew, yeah. He was a good lad as well.
Matthew Corbett.
Yeah, he seemed like a good guy. Don't tell me he's a baddie.
No, he's not a baddie.
I'm showing my age now. I think didn't his father used to do it, and then he took it over.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it was, yeah.
Yeah, that were fun. Another
They brought Sue in for the 90s one, too.
Sue was brilliant. What an addition! Sue's brilliant.
But she was the only one that had an actual voice.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
Sue
true.
was squeaky and just
Yeah,
she was.
I used to
She
love
just hit
Sweep.
things.
He was so annoying. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
Robotic Monkeys come in with some 80s bangers as well. Jason the Wheeled Warriors. Anyone remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I love that show. He pointing out that kids' TV shows used to have banging theme tunes, and he brought up Thundercats and Pole Position.
Yeah.
Yep.
So good. It's just so good. I mean, He-Man and the Masters on the Universe, that was a good theme tune as well. And by Stig's account, the new one is. Transformers was good.
He-Man.
There's so many good ones, but yeah, a lot of it was like power metal fantasies, weren't it?
Absolutely. Wonderful. Futile Exercise, he's mentioned one that I fucking adore here. Being a kid of the 80s, had all the classic cartoons, but I enjoyed Ulysses 31. Easy for me to say.
Oh, yeah.
That was dark as fuck.
And Mysterious Cities of Gold.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Now we're
classic.
talking.
Yeah. He enjoyed them more than He-Man and Thundercats, maybe because they weren't for selling toys. Yeah, they were genuine, interesting stories.
Yeah, and I never saw a Ulysses figure.
No.
And I don't even think I ever saw the end of Mysterious Cities.
No,
of
I
Gold.
didn't.
It went on forever.
Yeah, I never saw the ending.
There's a really classic video of when the final episode aired in the UK, and there's was it Philip Schofield? He was like the presenter on CBBC at the time, and there's a video of him in the broom cupboard, him and Gordon the Gopher singing along to the theme tune for the final episode. It's worth a
I
look
never
up
saw
on
it
YouTube.
finish. Never know what happened. Did they ever find it?
Probably.
No, they didn't.
Oh, fuck.
I know. Very sad. Futile Exercise also goes on to say, bit gutted they never finished Jason the Wheeled Warriors. Still get the pole position theme tune stuck in his head. Cow Goes Moo has said, The Trapdoor, another one with a banging theme tune.
Yeah.
Round the Twist, another banging theme
Have you
tune.
ever felt like this? Strange things happen when you're going round the twist. Oh, God, yes.
There was Sharky and George,
Oh,
the crime
yeah.
busters of the sea.
Yeah.
And Funhouse, it's a whole lot of fun.
Always
It's
good.
wacky,
Prizes
it's
to
fun,
be
it's
won.
He's
outrageous.
a baddie though.
Is it? Or Pat Sharp?
Pat Sharp? No, he's got all the hits.
He's not that kind of baddie, but he's a bit of a perv.
He's probably got the twins locked in his
I mean,
bedroom.
I was going to say, you saw the
That
twins
hair,
there.
man.
He did our student union Freshers Week party.
What, he was a DJ.
He was the
raving it
DJ,
up.
yeah. Yeah,
hell.
he made quite a few sexist jokes about the twins, like.
Oh, God, Pat.
Ooh.
I know he was a DJ on radio, like, probably still is. You don't know, but I remember him having all the hits.
Do you remember that mullet as well?
Oh, it was a
I'd love to be
glorious
on.
mullet.
I'd love to be on Funhouse.
Yeah, winning
I
a
think
trip to Alton Towers.
every kid did. Every kid in the 90s wanted to be on Funhouse.
On that go-kart.
The go-karts, that's what it was.
On the go-karts, grabbing the prizes, get your Game Boy, get your VHS.
It was always a
your
trip,
to Alton
grand
Towers.
trip to Alton
And you watch
Towers.
those kids and go, I could have fucking done
You were
that.
too old.
I wasn't that old. I remember that show.
Yeah, but when the kids that were on it, you'd have been
And
too
this is
old.
Andrew, he's 21.
It'd be like gladiators for you, fucking banging them out the way.
Driving your actual car.
It started with the Fun Cave, all right?
All right.
Do you remember when ITV tried to do their own version of Funhouse and they did Finders Keepers with Neil Buchanan?
That was good as well. That was good. Where you
It was almost
had to destroy all
almost
the house,
same
didn't
principle. Yeah.
you? That was good.
Last up, we have Angry Kurt saying, I have a few favourite kid shows from when I was growing up in the 90s and early noughts, some of which I'm not sure many would have heard of. He's
Yeah,
being
lost me
hipster
on this
here.
one.
Hipster.
First was an ITV game show called Jungle Run, which was on CITV. I love the show and always wished I could have been a contestant on it. Teams of kids had to do various challenges to get time for themselves to complete the Jungle Run Temple Challenge at the end of the show, which would net them prizes if they did it successfully. Essentially what he's saying
Crystal
is
Maze.
this was a kid's version. It was the Crystal Maze. There was a risk-reward element to it, as the further you got into the temple, the better the prizes you would get, but you would also risk not making it out in time and leaving empty-handed. It's the Crystal Maze.
Crystal Maze.
It was a lot of fun, and you would find yourself rooting for it against certain teams based on the kids involved as some were horrible and arrogant little snot bags who would be delighted to see you fail, and you could sometimes tell even the host hated them. My God, we found the angriness in him.
I thought Kurt was one of those.
Kurt made an old joke against Biggie. So
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yes, he-
Is that why he's not Best Boy today?
Oh, yeah.
He goes on to finish off with, this is getting pretty lengthy, so I'll give shout-outs to some other favourites, such as My Parents Are Aliens,
Don't know what that is.
Watch My Chops,
No.
Fairly Odd Parents,
No.
Get Your Own Back.
Oh, I know
Remember
that.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That rings a bell.
50-50.
Yeah, I know that with the schools.
Yeah. Hey Arnold.
Yep.
Mm,
You must know Hey Arnold. Football head.
Football head, yeah, I remember it. It took me a while then.
Dick and Dom in the Bungalow.
I don't know what that is.
I
That
know
sounds
what
like
Dick and Dom
something
is.
I'd watch on porno.
I know what Dick and Dom is.
I'd love to see the comment section on that. Dick
I know what Dick and Dom in the Bungalow was,
Bungalow.
but it was we were too old by that point. We're at least several years too old for it.
We've got like a decade over Kurt anyway, haven't we?
It's like I think it was a bit like his Live and Kicking.
Oh right,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, Live and
But
Kicking.
they did have bogies.
Like Dick and Dom were like the second generation Ant and Dec.
What did you say? They had bogies in the nose.
The game Bogies.
No,
Game Bogies is great.
Don't know what that
Ever
is.
heard of Bogies?
No.
Basically, they used to go around filming places, and they'd start out slow and want to be like bogies, and it basically they had to go louder and louder until one of them gave up, like because they got because they were in public.
Yeah.
So they'd be literally popping their heads over like the shelves in shops, going bogies at the top of the voice, and then like it got to the point where one of them was just like, I can't.
It'd be better if they were going
too loud. It's too embarrassed.
Wanker.
Well,
It's a kid's show.
it's
Though.
a
You
kids
can't
show.
do
It's
that.
basically the same.
Dick
yeah,
and Dom
but, like,
in the bungalow. That doesn't sound like a kids show to me.
in Da Bungalow.
In Da Bungalow. Oh my
Yeah,
word.
it was cool. It didn't say that. It was that.
Okay.
And the last one he points out was it was a Disney show. It was Recess.
No, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I've heard
what
of
that is.
Recess.
Yeah. But yeah, that is everything in the mailbag.
Wow, excellent. Thank you very much for writing in. And now on to everyone's favourite segment, the socials.
Yeah, so you can find us on Twitter at Modern Escapism. On there, you'll find a link to all our episodes and socials. You can join us for a chat on Discord. We have loads of channels that are constantly active, and we really have a fun and supportive community of like-minded people. If you have any comments, you can either tweet us or email us at modernescapismpod@gmail.com. If you enjoy playthroughs, find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/modernescapism. On Saturday, Oodles is continuing Fable. You are, aren't you?
Yeah,
Or are you-
I played a bit this week. Charming little game, isn't it?
I enjoyed watching you.
Yeah, it's a chat.
I forgot how good it was actually. It aged quite well, I
It
thought.
looks good.
Monday we have Biggie Dies. Biggie's carrying on with his playthrough of Dark Souls. How close are you to the end now?
I have no idea.
What was the last thing you did?
Says it all.
He's at
I'm
Ornstein
up
and Smoke.
against-
Oh, you're not
ONS.
halfway yet.
No. He's exactly halfway. This is the halfway point in the game.
Not until after beating that boss is not halfway.
Well, you have to beat the boss, yes, but yes, you're halfway.
So you've got a few more years of that to look forward to.
Yeah, they are twats.
Didn't we like do the poll for this after like the
It was in
third
September
episode?
last year that we did this poll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Biggie.
I only play it when I'm
You
streaming.
only
I
need
don't
to ask
play it
for
all the
tips,
time.
mate, and I'll give you tips, but you haven't asked yet. You can cheese. You can cheese them.
I normally have one of our listeners, Robotic Monkeys, normally keeping me
But
company.
he's probably got honour,
That's a few
unlike
others.
me.
But yeah, he's normally there giving me a few tips because he likes watching me be really bad at it, I think.
I don't think you can be good at it, really, can you? Wednesday we have Gadget and Stig
Is that aimed
playing.
at me?
And now
It was
Candy's
aimed at the
fully-
world.
Candy's now fully integrated into the podcast because she's had a joke at Biggie's expense.
If you didn't catch that, Wednesdays we've got Gadget and Stig playing Sea of Thieves. Thursday I do my creature feature. I just finished Hellblade,
what an ending.
and so good. I don't know if you saw the stream,
did.
but I did have a little bit of a sob, unfortunately.
Is that
But
the
I will
first
just
time you
say I
played
always
it?
cry. No, it's the
Okay.
second time.
I had a little sob with you as
I
well.
sobbed. I always cry at the end of games. It's not because it was sad. It's because I'm just.
It's ended.
It's because it's ended. We're on a beautiful journey. So this week, which is starting tonight when the pod comes out, I'm starting Those Who Remain.
Yes.
And we were kind enough to be supplied with a review code for that. So I'll be talking about that on this
What
on
one
the
is
pod
that?
at some point. Those Who Remain. It looks like a sort
It's
of
not out yet, technically. But you're
oh,
allowed to stream it, don't worry.
Okay then. Thanks, fuck. Also, all our playthroughs get uploaded to YouTube, and we've got a little bit of extra content so you can watch it in your own time. Search for Modern Escapism in channels. We're really close to being given our own personal link, so please subscribe to our YouTube. Patreon's been spoken about. If you like our content and you're feeling particularly generous and want to give us a bit of extra support, find us on patreon.com/modernescapism. And next week's subject is greatest comebacks. So this can include actors, TV reboots, music. What or who made
politicians?
Stonker. Politicians. No, we're not talking about that. It doesn't include everything I like.
Yes.
Is Sean Connery allowed to be included in this one?
Well, yeah.
I mean, he might come back.
You never know. Come out of retirement. Yes, boy.
It's basically that anything that you think might have fizzled out of existence and has just made an absolute cracking comeback. So let us know in the comments. As always, if you have a minute and you've enjoyed our podcast, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It really does help us get seen. We read all the 5-star reviews, and if you have any suggestions for us, we value them and take them all on board. So please do if you have a minute. Little 5-star, we'd love it.
And if you don't, we will reboot Bernard's Watch with Oodle's Watch.
I've listened to...
we don't want to give Oodles the power to stop time. God, no.
Yeah.
I've listened to the theme tune for that. It's terrible.
It's crap, innit?
It's just like some shitty flute thing going on or what. It's a recorder.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's a recorder.
It's terrible.
Oh, no. The worst.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. And thank you very much for listening. If you're not a patron, this is it for you. And we're going to go out with quite a poignant quote from the one Mr. Patrick Starfish. Sometimes we have to go deep inside ourselves to solve our problems. Good night.
Killing them with an ice cream.